حامدا ومصليا ومسلما. Today's topic is a topic which is close to my heart, and it's a topic which is certainly talked about amongst our community. And the title of today's topic is mental health, tackling the stigma. And my question is, if I had a whiteboard here and I drew a spider diagram and I wrote mental health, and I was to ask you, as soon as you think about mental health, what words pop up in your mind? The vast majority of us would say certain words which have negative connotations.
After 10 minutes.
Misal ke taur pe, when you hear the word mental health, हमारे कौम, what do we associate with mental health? उसका एक मिसाल ये है कि बंदा पागल हो गया. यानी when we think of mental health, very quickly we associate those with very negative words. And a person who suffers from mental health issues, very quickly in our community that person is looked down upon. बेचारा बीमार है, बेचारा पागल है, बर्दाश्त नहीं है. However, what we need to do is take a step back. Because my friends, our life from morning till evening is governed by Islam, is governed by Quran and Sunnah. So we have to look at what does the Quran and Sunnah tell us about mental health. And then that needs to become our view on the issue. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, he was rahmatan lil alameen. He was a mercy for all of the universe, all of mankind, all of the makhluk. And friends, those people who suffer from mental health issues, they are also the makhluk of Allah. So Huzur alayhi salatu wasalam was also a mercy for them as well. And if we study his seerat, we find how did the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam deal with people who had mental health issues. So I want to create a contrast here. How do we deal with people with mental health issues? And how did the Prophet ﷺ deal with those who had mental health issues? For example, if we are walking on the street with our child and we see somebody from afar who has mental health issues, what do? We either change the path or we hold tight onto our son. So from a young age, we are teaching our children that this person who has mental health issues, there's something wrong with him, stay away. Not knowing that there could be people in our own household who suffer from mental health issues. So now I want to give you a hadith of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam on how he dealt with a woman who had mental health issues. I present to you a hadith of Bukhari and Abu Dawud. A woman came to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and the hadith of Abu Dawud states, كَانَ فِي عَقْلِهَا شَيْءٍ, that she had some mental health issues. Ya Rasulullah, I have a need. How did the Messenger respond? O woman, walk in any street of Medina, sit in any street of Medina, and I will sit with you and I will not move until your need is fulfilled. This was the compassion of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And just this one hadith has given us an entire chapter, an entire principle on how to deal with those people who suffer from mental health issues. That we treat them with compassion, with empathy. I have a background in mental health. I'm training to become a therapist in mental health. And when I was studying the theories behind mental health, like in the person-centered, which is empathy, congruence, unconditional positive regard, ये अखलाक है. And when I read this hadith of Bukhari, I found the entirety of counseling and the qualities of a counselor in the life of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And these are concepts which came about 100 years ago, in the last 100 years. A person just has to look at one hadith and he finds the entire system of counseling in the life of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A woman comes to the Messenger alayhi salam, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, I have a mental condition, and because of that my body is uncontrollable. My body moves, I'm unable to control my body. Make dua that Allah takes it away. And the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, O woman, I can make dua for you that Allah takes it away and it will be taken away. Or you can make sabr and Allah will give you Jannah. And she said, Ya Rasulullah, I prefer Jannah. Because there is a notion in our community that either mental health is the possession of a jinn or jadoo, or that person is gunagar, is a sinner. And many a time when a person who has mental health issues, he comes to an imam or a person with a beard and he seeks advice for his mental health condition. Jawab kya milega? Do tawbah, istighfar, Quran pare, zikr kare. Main iska inkar nahi karta. Quran, tilawat, zikr, tawbah, tahajjud, all of these will have a positive impact on your mental health, but these themselves are not the medication for mental health only. My friends, mental health is an illness just like cancer. If somebody has cancer, what do? Quran, dhikr, dua, but they also seek treatment as well. Similarly, for mental health conditions, it's imperative that not only do we beseech Allah, but we also seek appropriate treatment. In our community, we would rather blame jadoo than accept that somebody in our family has mental health conditions. Why? Because there is stigma surrounding mental health. It's us who have to change the environment. We have to change the environment by talking openly, by being accepting that yes, this person has mental health conditions, but he is no less a human than I am. That he is also beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Perhaps Allah is testing him. And because the test Allah is putting him through in mental health, Allah ta'ala wants to reward him in the after. To a certain extent, when a person has severe mental health issues, what do we know? A person who is majnoon, the pen has been lifted, his a'mal not written down. Allah Ta'ala is giving that person a ticket to paradise. One blind person, he was asked, do you not miss or have the desire to see? He said, no. He said, Allah has taken away my eyes, but I know on Qiyamah when I wake up, the first thing I will see is Allah. It's our frame of reference. So rather than looking at mental health conditions in a negative light, if we spin it around and look at it in a positive light, that maybe Allah is testing me because He loves me. He wants to give me something. And this is, as a community, we need to look at mental health conditions. That yes, perhaps Allah is testing them. And that's why in hadith you find, when Allah loves a person, Allah tests him. And my friends, every human has mental health. No human is void of mental health. And mental health can be good and it can be bad. And a person's mental health never remains the same. It fluctuates. On one morning you could have positive mental health and the next day you could have negative mental health. And when we look at the Quran and Sunnah, we find mental health also affected the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam. All of you are aware of the story of Yaqub alayhi salam. وَبْيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ. The Quran mentions when he was separated from Yusuf alayhi salam, his eyes turned white. Meaning, because of the sorrow and gham over losing his own son, Yusuf alayhi salam, Yaqub alayhi salam cried so much, he nearly lost his eyesight. And this was a Nabi of Allah. But he was impacted by the separation of his son. Why? Because Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, despite receiving revelation from Allah Ta'ala, they were also human. And his sorrow, the Quran never condemned his sorrow. The Quran did not say Yaqub alayhi salam, na'udhu billah, made a mistake because he cried over his son. Rather, the Quran presented the case that Yaqub alayhi salam nearly lost his eyesight over separation from his son. Which shows to you and I, Allah Ta'ala is presenting the bashariyat of Anbiya. Even Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam are impacted by things that happen to them in their families. And this is a lesson we need to take. And there's a movement that men are also impacted by mental health. A man may lose his father, may lose his mother, he may have financial struggles. As a child, he may have gone through trauma. All of these things can impact a person even in adulthood. But the way we live in society, a man is told, you have to be strong, you can't cry. My friends, there was no man greater to grace the earth than the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Yet on the departure of his own family, he cried, alayhi salatu wasalam. So showing emotions is not against being a man. And there are many sisters who go through post-natal depression. You know, as men, we meet our friends, we go for coffee, we go for meals, we go out. So there's an element of us being able to bear our stress. But our women who are at home, they don't have the same ability to deal with the emotions because they have no one to talk to. So our women bottle it up. So my message to sisters today is if there's a need, seek treatment. There is no shame in seeking treatment. No shame. Rather the sunnah, my friends, the sunnah is to seek ilaj. This is sunnah. And we should not look down on anyone, rather encourage. If we know someone who has mental health issues and there is stigma, encourage them to seek treatment. My humble request today, that if somebody has mental health issues, वो इमाम साहब के पास ना आए. मैं दोबारा कह रहा हूँ. If a person has mental health issues, do not come to Imam Sahib. उर्दू में क्या कहते हैं? नीम हकीम खतरा जान और नीम मौलवी खतरा ईमान. यही है. Ulama in general are not trained to deal with mental health issues. For mental health issues, we have professionals, psychiatrists, we have counselors. I know of an alim, an imam, who has severe mental health issues, and as a result, on numerous occasions, he has been sectioned in a hospital. No problem. That does not take away from his Maulviyat. That does not take away from him being Muslim. Because he is seeking treatment for his illness just as anyone would seek treatment for their cancer. And my message today is we have to normalize mental health as we have normalized physical health. Because if we don't do that, my friends, we're going to have an epidemic of Muslims attempting to take their own lives. Now the fatwa in regards to taking your own life, everybody is aware, haram hai. And the person who self-harms, the Muslim youngster, the girl or boy who self-harms, who attempts suicide, they are well aware of the ruling of Sharia. So sometimes the place or environment is not to present fatwa. It's a time to present empathy. In the past couple of months, I know from Bati, of 2 individuals who have committed suicide, Muslims. And numerous who have attempted suicide. But akhirat mein to punch gaya. So self-harm, suicide, these things are on a rise in the Muslim community. My message to those brothers and sisters who are going through such episodes is treatment and help is there. Help is available. A person should not feel belittled in seeking help. I am by no way a professional in mental health. But if somebody needs my assistance, at the very least I can signpost you to the appropriate services. A person suffering from mental health issues does not mean you are a sinner. We need to clear this misconception. We think he has mental health issues, guna ki wajah se hoga. Incorrect. This is not the understanding of Sharia. And friends, many times anxiety and depression cannot be seen. Mujhe yaad hai, there was one youngster, he had depression. So he came up to the house for a meal with some friends. So one of his friends said to him, "You've been telling me you have depression and look at you smiling." Depression cannot always be seen. Many a times people with depression, they put on a front, they smile to hide the depression, to hide the sadness. And this is why we should never belittle or negate the mental health of any person. Because we do not know what that person is going through. What they are going through in their own homes, in their own lives, we are not aware. But as Islam instructs us, it's our job to show them compassion, to show them empathy, to show them due regard. This is the teaching of Islam. So I come to the conclusion of my talk, that again I appeal to the brothers and sisters listening, is if any of you suffer from mental health issues, whether it's stress, anxiety, depression, there is no shame in reaching out for help. The NHS provide free counselling through the IAPT service, IAPT, IAPT service. Though the wait is about a year, it's quite long, but you can access free counselling. And if somebody is contemplating taking their own lives, there are Samaritans and other groups that you can reach out to, and they will assist you and talk to you. But my humble appeal is take mental health as important, and if you need help, reach out for help, regardless of who you are. Even if you pray 5 times salah, even if you have a beard, even if you are part of the masjid and you seem to be religious, even you could have negative mental health. Mental health impacts everyone, and especially our sisters. The fathers, the brothers, the husbands, I request, if your wife is going through mental health issues, give her the support. If it needs to be an external agency, allow her to access that agency. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.